So today's topic is wrenches. I been looking at the Pittsburgh line, and I kind of wanted to get an idea of how good they were. And I bought a set when I did the junkyard tool bag. But the problem with them was that, let me grab one of them. Here's a 14. It's quite small compared to a Mac. Anyhow, so I went ahead and kind of did a little bit of digging. I grabbed a snap-on wrench of mine, a Macco, and some others, and I decided I was going to compare them, see what I thought about them, and that way I can give you my impression of them and see what you think. And what started all this is that I found these on sale at Harbor Freight, and they are a long-handled combination wrench set. I bought one in standard and one in metric, so I'd have a set of each. And the like the 24 and 25 and all that, they're quite long. But the standard wrenches you'd use every day, are they much longer than what you would get if you bought a high-end tool? Well, let's compare. I'm going to start off with some 14s first. Let me grab them. Alright. So, this is the wrench actually that came out of my junkyard bag. Not very long, not a lot of leverage. Keep in mind that the Pittsburgh wrenches are forged, made, and then they're chrome plated just like any other high-end wrench that you can buy. But there is some definite differences. One of the first things I noticed, well, obviously the length compared to Mac. And this is the one I grabbed earlier was out of my bigger wrench set that I bought recently. I bought not only the long reaches, but I bought a set of standard length, and then of course I have the smaller length wrenches that I put in my tool bag, and I kind of did that for space in the bag. So this is their regular wrench size compared to the standard set you can buy at Harbor Freight, compared to the long reach set. I can't even get that one on the picture. This is actually a pretty long 14, but you compare it to the standard length Mac, a little bit of a difference. But let's look at the differences between the Pittsburgh line and a high-end wrench. First thing I noticed right away is that the cuts inside the wrench, the box end, are more defined on a high-end wrench like a Mac or a Snap-on or something like that compared to the Pittsburgh. The only thing I can think of that this could be an issue is if you have a bolt head or nut that's starting to round off, you'll definitely finish the job with a Pittsburgh compared to a Mac, Macco, or Snap-on. And I'm going to go back to that Macco part in a minute. Now, the other thing I noticed about them is that the areas right here are not very well clearanced for smaller spaces, like, well, that's a 17. Whoops. This one here, I probably wouldn't be able to use on something like an intake manifold, the center 2 bolts on a small block Chevrolet, to where this one I could. And you can definitely see a difference in where you've got more clearance here than you do on this one here. Now, I have compared the Pittsburgh line here to my Mac so far, and besides the fact of the definition of the box end and the box end clearance, there is a couple other differences here at the open end. First of all, high-end wrenches like Mac and Snap-on and all that, they put some sort of serrating right here in the jaw itself, that way you get a better bite on things, to where you don't see that at all, and of course you don't see that at all in the Pittsburgh. But they still seem like a pretty decent wrench, even though you have to buy more than one set to get the length that you want. Yeah. But at the price, I mean, I paid $23 for the whole set of long reaches. Now I'm going to show you something that I was really depressed about when I pulled it out of my toolbox. This is a Matco, all right? I paid big money for these. I mean, I think I paid $300 just for this one set of combination wrenches. And if you compare it to side by side to the Pittsburgh, it isn't that much longer. Believe it or not, the edges inside the box end are not that much more defined than the Pittsburgh, and there's no serrating in the jaw. So I can tell a weight difference, but these things have so much girth right here, way too much girth right here for me to say that it's I have more clearance. No. If you compare this one to the 17 of Pittsburgh, they're the same length. The Pittsburgh's a little wider than the Matco, but you still have clearance issues on both. And as I said, the definition in here is not that much better than the Pittsburgh. If I would have known this when I paid $300 for these things, I would have bought a set of these. Now going on to a 17, here's a snap-on 17 wrench. It does have serrating here in the jaw, which I think they call their eagle claw. I'm not sure. The definition in here is much better than the Pittsburgh. But let's compare the Pittsburgh long to the snap-on regular reach wrench. Big difference. But yet if you compare it to the 17 of regular standard wrench of Pittsburgh, just out of curiosity, yeah, look at that. That's a $300 Matco. So yes, there's definite differences when you look at, again, clearance here to here. Definite difference in thickness, which also gives you clearance. The jaw itself on the open end has serrated edges. That way it doesn't slip, to where this one doesn't. So even though they're both forged, even though they're both chrome plated, I know that Snap-on and all them do use a different type of material. Probably stronger steel than what Pittsburgh uses, but that's how they keep the price down. You know, Pittsburgh's got a lifetime warranty. Yeah, there's some issues with clearance, I would think, but that's not going to come up all the time. They're a little bit, some of them are a little bit heavier, like this one here is heavier than the Snap-on, just because they use so much more metal girth to give it the strength. But all in all, looking at them, I'm pretty impressed with them, and I wouldn't hesitate to use them. The long reach ones are actually pretty cool. I'm going to get some good use out of these because I can get a lot of torque out of them because of the fact that I have more leverage. I'm going to really like these. At least I think, until I break one and really get mad. But looking at the quality of them, they aren't bad at all. I mean, they are, I'm not going to say they're comparable to a high-end tool, well, except for the Matco. But I'm not going to say they're that quality. I mean, you can see a difference in the fit or the finish of them. You can see where on the even on the Matco, you can see where they took their time deburring and polishing and making all the edges look nice and all that, compared to the Pittsburgh. You know, up next, on to the next one. You know, you can definitely see a difference there. But these long reach ones are actually better quality than the standard set, and I actually think that See, this is the high-end Mac one. This is what I call a knuckle buster. And the thickness here for getting into hard to reach places is almost the same as the Pittsburgh. The length of the Pittsburgh is a little bit longer. The size of the Pittsburgh, when it comes to thickness and all that, is about the same as the Mac. I know the forging process is probably different, but I'm actually quite impressed with these Pittsburgh long reach ones. So, anyhow, I know it's a short video, but my taking on this 10 years ago when they started putting out Pittsburgh wrenches, I probably would have gone, oh, there's no way I would buy one of these, because they weren't chrome plated, they weren't that good of quality. I mean, they were horrible, to be honest. They've come a long way, and I now own 3 complete sets, so obviously that's telling you that I wouldn't mind owning them. Now, for me to say that the professional wouldn't use these, I would say he could get away with it. I really do. In fact, I encourage some of the professionals to try them out and see what they say and see what they think. And even put a comment down below. That way I know the luck you've had with them, or if you haven't had any luck with them. But the last thing I'm going to talk about, I did a video on Harbor Freight freebies, and I've got a lot of feedback from it. So my wife decided that she's going to do a 1-month challenge. Starting January 1st, she is buying one item for $5 or less and getting one freebie every day. And at the end of the month, we're going to tally them all up, see what we bought, see how much we spent, and then see what freebies we got out of it. Now, keep in mind, they don't do a whole bunch of freebies all the time, so you might see multiples of something. Hopefully it's something I need. But she already started the challenge because today is the 3rd. So she's gone 3 days so far. I'm not allowed to get in the bags, and I'm not allowed to see what she bought until after the end of the month. So next month's video, we're going to show that and see how far we got. Anyhow, if you like the video, please like and subscribe if you haven't already. All of us little YouTubers need as many subscribers and likes as possible. We all know this, so support your fellow YouTuber and subscribe to their channels if you like what you see. Anyhow, you have a great weekend, and I'm going to go watch Super Bowl. See ya.